That's right, we've got our very first trailer for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and our first glimpse at the film's voice cast, including Chris Pratt doing a very different Mario. I'm a little bit late to this coverage here, so we're going to keep it short and sweet, but as always, before we get into it, make sure to weigh in down in the comments with your initial thoughts on the trailer for the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So firstly, it goes without saying, overall, this is a terrific teaser trailer. It gives us a small little glimpse without showing us too much. But from this alone, we can tell that the visuals are stunning, the transfer from games to screen is insanely accurate and respectful to source, and we have what looks like a pretty traditional narrative. We've got Bowser ruling over his kingdom of Koopas out on a conquest to obtain power stars for his ultimate power. As Bowser approaches an ice kingdom, blue penguins pour out on a crusade to stop him and his army. Of course, Bowser obliterates them all and obtains the Power Star regardless. We then meet up with Mario, who crash lands in the Mushroom Kingdom after likely being shot through a pipe somewhere. Here, he meets Toad for the first time and the two take off on an adventure towards the kingdom, with Princess Peach's castle looming in the distance. Again, the Mushroom Kingdom looks absolutely gorgeous here. It's visceral, it's colourful, and it just looks like a really fun place to spend 2 hours in a movie. A post-trailer scene sees a distressed Luigi running away from a horde of dry bones and hiding away in an old castle. From this, we can tell we've got a classic Mario story. Bowser is out for power and Mario is out to stop him. It's likely the princess will find herself entangled in the battle somehow, and Mario, Luigi, and Toad will all have to save her. For me, and I would guess most Mario fans, this is exactly how we wanted to see this story play out on the screen. Again, it's respectful and true to source, just as the visuals are, and it seems the best way to adapt this classic IP in a new form. Illumination have also seemingly bypassed their traditional animation style to keep it more in line with the games, likely a stipulation from Nintendo. However, that classic Illumination humor is still fully intact, whether you love it or not so much. As for character designs, Bowser is easily the most accurate to source. He looks just as he does in the games, and here he appears even more menacing and frightening than ever. There's a great horror element to his first entrance that I just love. Toad seems pretty accurate too. I mean, there's only so much you can do with a little dude in a vest and a diaper with a mushroom head, but he comes out looking great. He also seems to have a bit more of a personality injected into him here. He's energetic, feisty, and full of spunk. I'm excited to see what they do with him. Luigi, it's hard to quite say just yet as we don't get too much of a look at him, but he does translate quite well. Mario is perhaps the character that's had the most liberties taken with his design. He looks fairly accurate, but also with an added realism that's more than likely been given to add a little more relatability in film form and help audiences form a stronger connection within a 2-hour narrative feature. His clothes certainly have more detail than normal, which I think looks great, and his face just looks a little bit more real. Some have taken issue with this new look, but it's not really that different, and I'm pretty happy with what we do have here. I'm just really glad that Nintendo have allowed this push, because the last thing I want to be doing is watching 2 hours of video game graphics in a theater. I think this looks fine. As for the voices, Jack Black delivers a powerhouse performance as Bowser, as we expected.
Open the gates! I do not. I finally found it. Now who's gonna stop me?
At this point, Black is a veteran vocal performer, having voiced numerous cartoon characters as far back as 2002's Ice Age. Of course, he leads the Kung Fu Panda franchise. He is also a very, very good musical vocalist, actually having gotten his start in the entertainment industry as a singer and member of Tenacious D. The man knows a thing or two about vocalization and puts it to work right here. I couldn't be happier. Keegan-Michael Key's Toad sounds great too.
Do not touch that mushroom, you'll die! Oh, I'm sorry. That one's perfectly fine. Come on, Mario!
Again, to match his personality, it's lively and energetic, and just sounds like the kind of dude you want to go on an adventure with. And then, we come to Mario. Remember a few months back when Chris Pratt promised us that this wouldn't be the actual voice of Mario?
It's a me, a Mario.
Well, it turns out it actually wasn't that far off.
What is this place? Mushroom Kingdom, here we come!
Okay, So when we first heard Pratt was going to be voicing Mario, we knew this wouldn't be the traditional take. And I mean, that's fine. This is a different take on the character and a different interpretation of the world and all of that stuff. But it really is going to be very hard to get over not hearing Charles Martinet's classic voice coming out of Mario's mouth. We all know it, we've all grown up with it. This is going to be very weird. I mean, we did have the 80s, 90s cartoons where Mario had this voice.
Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show! Why don't you go out and impress a bunch of girls? Mon fier?
Wouldn't it be nice if every day were Christmas?
And of course, Bob Hoskins' take in the 1993 live-action film that we don't really talk too much about.
Luigi, it's a mushroom. Come on.
So Mario hasn't always had that classic voice, and so far never has when depicted in official TV and movie adaptations. So in that respect, this is somewhat following a tradition, but given that this is a CGI adaptation that looks very much like the video games, this is something that's going to take a little while to get used to, I think. Also, there's the fact that Pratt's line reading, judging by the few lines that we actually get here, sounds very, well, Chris Pratt. He doesn't really seem to be making much of an attempt to be doing much of a voice. Now, I like Chris Pratt, I have nothing against him, I think he's a great actor, he's really fun, but he just plays himself in almost everything he does, so of course it's going to be the same here. I think I really would have disliked it if he had tried to mimic Martinet's voice, when the guy is quite literally still around and actually in the movie. So I'm glad they didn't go down that route. I just kind of wished Pratt maybe put a little bit more effort into this, maybe did somewhat of a voice or something. Again, we've only got a few lines here, so I will give this the benefit of the doubt until the film comes out, and just hope it all pulls together okay. Aside from that, I'm loving this. I can't wait to see more and get our first glimpses of other characters. We still haven't seen or heard anything from Princess Peach, set to be played by Anya Taylor-Joy. There is in fact actually a leaked image of her floating around out there on the internet. I do not cover leaks here on this channel because I've gotten a little bit of trouble doing that in the past, but if you do want to check that out, it's a very, very quick Google away. We also haven't seen anything from Donkey Kong, whose raspy tones will be coming from Seth Rogen. Can't wait for that. I'm also dying to probably hear Charlie Day's take on Luigi, which we got a little bit of here, but really not enough to tell. We did possibly get a brief glimpse at it here though.
I walk out and there's like two guys in overalls with like hammers that are like, don't you tell nobody nothing about this, Charlie. I swear to God, we're gonna get your kneecaps, we're gonna break your neck.
If that is any indication, I think I'm going to be very happy with this. This seems very close to perfect so far, so I'm very excited for it. And at that, it's over to you. What are your thoughts on the trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie and on the character iterations that we see here? Join the conversation down in the comments below. If you want to hear me talk more tunes, make sure to check out the playlists on your screen.